Hi, my name's Ashley, and today I'm going to be presenting to you the story of the Radium Girls. So, some background information. In the early 1920s, an estimated 4,000 workers were hired to paint watch faces with glowing paint containing radium. A lot of the workers that were hired were women because they have smaller, more nimble fingers, so that it would be easier for them to paint the small details on the watches. And they were only paid a penny for each dial, so they wanted to paint as many as they could in the day. So this led to them using their mouths to make the point of the paintbrush sharper, and so it would be easier and quicker for them to paint the watch dials. They would stick the paintbrush in their mouth between their lips, and they would dip it in the paint and then paint, and then they would repeat over and over again. And they were concerned at first about the safety of this, but they were reassured by their managers that would be safe and it was okay. And so they started to use the paint on their lips, their teeth, their nails, and their faces to like make them glow, especially when they like go out and stuff, to make it like look cooler. And that's a picture of the movie, from the movie The Radium Girls, just as an example of what the radium paint might look like. And then there's a picture on the right of a woman who was exposed to radium. As you can see, her arm is missing, and she's like putting the paintbrush between her lips. So some of the first signs that they showed was tooth pain. Molly in the top picture, she went to the dentist in January of 1922. She went to get her tooth pulled, and she came back around May, same year. The doctor noticed a fast-growing abscess on her jaw, and he decided he was going to remove it. And when he did this, he got to her, opened up her gums, got to her jawbone, and it crumpled in his hand. And then by September of the same year, Molly had passed away. So that's how quickly she had succumbed to her symptoms. So that would be like the first sign was like teeth pain. They would also develop anemia, spontaneous bone fractures, they had radium jaw, honeycomb bones, sarcomas, and bones emitting light, because the bones got mistaken for the radium got mistaken for calcium. So the bones were like super brittle and fragile, and they were glowing from the radium. And you can see in the bottom picture the hand, you can see the necrosis in it, and the radium burn looks super painful, not fun. So the women were diagnosed with radium poisoning, and there was no treatment for this. And the effects of radium can take up to 5 years to appear. Just depends on the severity of their exposure. Yeah, you can see the big growth on that person's leg, and you can see on her eye just bandages and stuff. Yeah, so the prognosis, it really depended on the severity of their exposure, how severe their symptoms were, and how quickly they would succumb to the radium poisoning. Some women worked more and ingested more radium, and some went out more and put it on their body more, so they would have more symptoms and pass more quickly than some of the women that refused to ingest the radium because they didn't like the taste of the bitterness. And so, yeah, in 1927, they were their prognosis was 4 months to live due to radium poisoning. You can see this woman, you can see like her missing teeth and some ulcers in her mouth. She just looks like she's in a really bad, like she looks really sad and like in a lot of pain. And so yeah, in 1927 as well, the girls that were nicknamed the Radium Girls were the ones that filed the lawsuit, so against the U.S. Radium Corporation. So Grace, Edna, Catherine, Quinta, and Albina, they filed a lawsuit for damages of $250,000, but they settled for $10,000 each and $600 annually, and over 50 women died as a direct result of radium paint poisoning. And then here's a picture of the Radium Girls all together. That's them. Some additional information. The Radium Girls were nicknamed the Living Dead because they were pretty much dying from the inside out. Really sad. It was theorized that X-ray machines contributed to worsening of some of the ill workers' conditions by exposing them to more radiation. So that when they would have job pain and they would get like an X-ray, they were getting exposed to more radiation, and they had already had so much radium exposure. Something good that came out of this led to the U.S. Occupational Safety and Health Administration, also known as OSHA. Yup, so that is really a good thing to have, so that something like this doesn't happen again, and we can prevent things that are avoidable. So here's some images of some x-rays. It shows osteoporosis and like how nimble their bones would be and stuff. So there's my citations.